God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior, that's what you are. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior, that's what you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God, that's what you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God, that's what you are. Bright and morning star, beautiful rose of Sharon, waymaker, awesome wonder. I realize that no one can compare to you. The things you do, no other God can do the same. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior, that's what you are. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior, that's what you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God, that's what you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God, that's what you are. Don't know any other God as powerful as you are. Proven in times you are, you remain the same. No other God can match the works, the ways of our. That's what you did on the cross, no other could do for us. Faithful God, pride of the beautiful Savior. Can you sing and say, that's what you are. Faithful God, pride of the beautiful Savior, that's who. I believe you know the song by now. Come on, let's do it together. Faithful God, holy God, say righteous God, that's who you are. Faithful God, yeah, yeah. Holy God, righteous God, say that's who you are. For you an amazing God, amazing God, waymaker, that's what you are. Oh, for you an amazing God, amazing God you are, waymaker, that's what you are. Oh, for you an amazing God, amazing God you are, waymaker, that's what you are. Oh, say for you an amazing God, amazing God you are, waymaker, that's what you are. Faithful God, pride of the whole world. Wave your hands. Beautiful Savior, that's what you are. Just wave your hands. Come on, let's do this song together. Wave your hands, everybody. Now, if you know that Jesus has been faithful to you, wave your hands. Come on. Yeah. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful.
All right, this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm so glad for the program taking place today. I'm so glad that we are live today to talk about a very sensitive, very important topic of discussion. I'm glad seeing you guys today. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever, what time it might be in your place. I'm so glad that we're doing this program today. How is today? Did you go to church? How was the church experience today? All right. Okay, so we're going to be talking about something very important today, something very vital. And if you're on Facebook, you're watching us right now, I want you to know that you could actually watch us on YouTube as well. So we're streaming both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So you might just want to check us out both on Facebook and YouTube and choose whichever service is actually of good benefit to you, because some people don't like Facebook, so they want to go to YouTube, and some people don't just like YouTube, they want to go to Facebook. So whichever one is good for you, you can actually go there. And I need to mention that there are some individuals that are helping us with this. I pray that the Lord will bless them in Jesus' name. For everyone who had actually been supporting us in a way, one way or the other, I want to say that the Lord will bless you in Jesus' name. So last week we had Dr. Tony Costa coming to the show, talking about Muhammad in the Bible, and we see so many things that were unveiled to us. And for me, one of the interesting things is Qur'an chapter 61 verse 6, and I discovered that a lot of people were requesting what is the source of the variant reading for Qur'an chapter 61 verse 6. And I'm so glad, because I also asked, I discovered that question was not I was not able to pose that question to Dr. Tony Costa because of the fact that he had answered some questions and he had some other engagement as well. So what I did actually was to ask him, since a lot of people are asking concerning this, they wanted to know the source for the variant reading in Quran chapter 61 verse 6, and he told me that it's actually from the book, Arthur Jeffrey's book, which is what's the name of this book again? Forgot the book. I forgot the title of the book. Okay, I'm going to remember before the end of the show. But it's a very popular book. Just forgot. I don't know why I should forget the title of the book right now. But then the variant reading is actually spotted right from that particular work. Okay, so it's an interesting program, and we're going to be seeing more of that. Lord willing, next week upward, we're going to be having more program and more brothers in the show. I have a couple of announcements to make, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to be doing that at the end of the program. So today we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic of discussion. We talked about this about I think a month ago or 3 weeks ago, can't really remember right now, and it's about the Nasaras in the Quran. Are they Christians? All right, we talked about that 3 weeks ago, and we touched on some particular thing. Okay, so we're going to be talking about it today again. We're going to be taking a look at some certain things, and we're going to be moving from this place upward. I want to say shout out to those that are online right now. Thank you very much, Bra Oni Olad. Shalom to you. Thank you very much, Bra Benson Sunday. Shalom to you. Thank you for coming online. Really appreciate you. So that's so those are the people right there from the YouTube. From Facebook. I don't know if we have folks from YouTube right now, but if we do, I'm going to also say shout out to them, okay? If they are, I will say shout out to them. But let's just get into the program of today. Let's go into the program of today, and then we get started. So like I said, we're going to be talking about the Nasaras in the Quran. We want to know if these Nasaras in the Quran are Christians, or maybe they are just some some disciples of Jesus Christ that are not existing any longer. We want to know if they are disciples of Jesus Christ that are not existing any longer, or if they are the Christians of today as we know it. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm also going to explain to you the reason why this is very important. Because some of you might be asking, hey, Korede, why do we even need to talk about this in the first place? Why do we need to discuss if the Nasaras and the Quran are Christian, especially when majority of the Muslim scholars see it that way, especially when the majority of the Muslim scholars know that the Nasaras are the Christians. So why talking about this in the first place? Well, the reason why I'm going to be discussing it is because we have some Muslims now who actually do not believe that the Nasaras that we have in the Quran are Christians. And they do not believe this for obvious reasons, okay? And I'm going to be showing you the reason why they do not want to believe this, or one of the problem of, not believing, all right, that the Quran mentions the Christians, okay? So I'm going to be spotlighting the problem. You know the reason why we need to talk about this, all right? So let's delve into it. So I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do right now is to actually mention, just give us a brief summary of the issue that we talked about, okay, where we left off. So what we talked about so far and where we left off. I'm going to be talking about that. Just give us that summary. Then we're going to be moving up from there, just to give some people who have not actually had the opportunity to listen to the program before. All right, thank you very much for joining me. Ayokunle Adeyemi, yes, I say good job. Thank you very much, brother. Really appreciate you for that. Okay, so let's move on. Now, I need to show you, like I said, I need to show you a summary of what we discussed, before. I mean, what we've discussed so far before we actually move into the program of today. So here's the summary of what we discussed so far. Now, one of the things that we discussed, in fact, we talked about two claims that Ustaz Jamiu Adegunwa made, okay? We talked about two claims he made, and the first one, it's actually that the Muslims translators of the Quran who translated Nasara to Christians are influenced by Christians missionary. So that's actually what he said. He said those the Muslim translators of the Quran who translated the word Nasara to be Christians are influenced by the Christians missionary, or are even influenced by the Christians. Now, I show that those are not true. I show that the statement is not true, because I actually brought forth two Muslim translators who are actually scholars in their own right. I show forth, and I also brought up their biography to show that these guys do not have any influence of Christians in their life. So, for instance, I made mention of something like Mohammed Taqi Usmani, okay, and I told you that this guy has no influence right from childhood. He has been trained by his father. He went to a madrasa. He went to Egypt, and he did a lot of, in Islamic studies. This guy he knows very well the Arabic language, so he's not influenced by the Christians who have translated the word Nasara into Christians in his own translation of the Quran. And I showed you his translation of the Quran that the word Nasara was translated to Christians. So that statement by the Ustaz is actually false. It's not true, all right? So, and that's the reason why I'm actually bringing this up. So the fact that they said that the people, the translators that actually translate the word Nasara to Christians are influenced by Christian missionaries or Christians is actually false. That's not true. And the second claim he made, actually, that I also addressed is this. He said that the first two people who were first addressed as Christians in Antioch were Paul and Barnabas. And I also show that that statement in and of itself is false. It's not true. I show that that statement is not true because we actually went into the book of Acts of Apostles, and we see that the people that were called disciples, that were called Christians, were the disciples of Jesus Christ. It wasn't just Paul and Barnabas alone. These are disciples of Jesus Christ that were called Christians, not Paul and Barnabas. And I showed right from there that this, again, is not true. So we have two statements or two claims so far made by the Ustaz that is not true, and we're going to be moving on from there, okay? So I haven't seen that the claims that the Ustaz actually made are not true. We're going to be seeing some other claims, but before we move on to some other claim, there are some things I actually wanted to show you, okay? I wanted to show you that why is this understanding of Nasara as Christians very important? Why is it that the Ustaz does not want to believe that the Nasaras are Christians? I mean, what is the problem there? What is the problem in believing that the Nasaras are Christians? All right, that's actually what I want to show you right now. So it's very important, because if the Ustaz is saying that the Nasaras are not Christians, there must be a reason for it. There must be a reason why he does not believe that the Nasaras are Christians, okay? So what is problematic about this believing that the Nasaras are not Christians? And that is what I'm going to be showing you right now. I'm going to be showing you the reason why this is problematic, okay? Now, I'm going to just give you about two verses of the Quran, okay? Two verses of the Quran that gives problem, to understanding the Nasaras are Christian. The two problematic, there are so many, all right? I'm just going to be giving us two verses from the Quran, and I'm going to be showing us the reason why these verses pose problem for the Islamic scholars. I mean, by the time you throw these verses to them, you ask them questions on these verses of the Quran, it's actually problematic, okay? And I'm going to be showing you those two verses. Now, the very first one is Quran chapter 2, Quran chapter 2, verse 62. Quran chapter 2 verse 62. In fact, this verse of the Quran was actually, how do I put it now? Was actually duplicated. So what I mean is that we have two verses, okay? They say the very same thing, all right? We have Quran chapter 2 verse 2 verse 62, and we also have Quran chapter 5 verse 69. They are actually saying the same thing. So let's read this verse of the Quran. Quran chapter 2 verse 62 says, "Indeed, the believers, the Jews, the Christians, the Sabians, whoever truly believes in Allah and the last day and does good will have their reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve." All right, so that's the first verse, which is Quran chapter 2, verse 62. Okay, so that translation is taken from Dr. Mustafa Katab, which is actually the clear Quran. I'm going to be talking about this this translation later. Okay, so now the second verse of the Quran, still talking about Dr. Mustafa's translation of the Quran, which is the clear Quran. We read in Quran chapter 5 verse 69, it says, "Indeed, the believers, the Jews, the Sabians, and Christians, whoever truly believes in Allah and the last day and does good, there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve." So you can see from this true translation of the Quran, clearly is saying that on the day of judgment, the Christians, the Jews, and the Sabians, they will be in paradise. They will not be afraid. They will be in Allah's paradise, okay? Now, this verse is so clear. There is nothing ambiguous about this verse, all right? There's nothing ambiguous about this verse. Whereas, by the time you check Quran chapter 3, verse 85, you're going to be seeing something like, hey, if you're not a Muslim, you won't be in Allah's paradise. So you can see the reason why one of, the Ustaz or Muslims, some Muslims, would actually want to say that the Christians are not the Nasaras that the Quran is talking about. Why? Because if the Christians are the Nasaras that the Quran is talking about, then it means that the Quran contradicted itself. Why? Because number one, the Christians believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God, whereas the Quran condemns that. The Christians believe that Jesus Christ was crucified. Quran chapter 4 verse 157 actually says that Jesus was not crucified. Okay, so the Quran actually says that the Christians who actually call Jesus Christ the Son of God or the Messiah, they're calling the Son of Allah. Quran chapter 9 verse 30 says that they will be cursed, meaning that those Christians that utter those words will be cursed. Whereas we're seeing in Quran chapter 2 verse 62 and Quran chapter 5 verse 69 that these same Christians will be in Allah's paradise. You can see the problem right now. You can see the problem that this verse is posing to the Islamic scholars or to the Muslims. So that's the reason why the Ustaz will say, oh no, there's a way we should be able to understand this verse. So the only way we can understand it is that if we say that the Nasaras are not the present-day Christians, all right, but the followers of Jesus Christ who are no longer existing, okay, who are no longer existing, then who are not actually Christians, then we can find a way to reconcile this verse of the Quran. So you can see one of the problems that the verse of the Quran is actually posing to the Muslims. Now, the very second verse of the Quran I'm going to be showing to you, very similar verse of the Quran, but not in the same context, is Quran chapter 10 verse 94. Quran chapter 10 verse 94. And this verse of the Quran is also really very important. The reason why it is important is because of the context of the verse of the Quran. So let's read the Quran verse. It says, "And so, if you, O Muhammad, are in doubt concerning that which we have revealed to you," and the translators actually put in there that your name is written in the Torah and the Gospel, "then ask those who are reading the book before you." Of course, we know that the book that is being talked about there is the Torah and the Injil, meaning the Torah, the Old Testament, the Injil, and which is actually the Gospel. So he's saying that then ask those who are reading the book before you. Verily, the truth has come to you from your Lord, so be not of those who doubt. So you can see from this verse of the Quran that we're seeing that Allah is telling Muhammad, hey Muhammad, if you are in doubt concerning what we have revealed to you, all right, concerning the revelation of the Quran, concerning what we are giving, the wahi that we're giving to you. So if you're in doubt concerning that, then consult those who are reading the book before you. Now, what are the books, all right? What are the books that the Quran is talking about? The Quran is talking about the earlier scriptures, all right, which is the Torah and the Injil. And of course, the Torah is the Old Testament, the Injil is the Gospel. Now, I know some Muslims will say, hey, Korede, no. The Torah is not the Old Testament. The Injil is not the Gospel. We're going to be talking about that, Lord willing, is a topic we're going to be looking at very soon. And I will show right from the Quran that the Quran is actually referring to the Torah as the Old Testament as we know it, and the Injil as the New Testament, the Gospel as we know it, all right? So that's a topic for another day. But then, the vast majority of the Muslims understand the gospel to be the gospel that we have today. Okay, so now the two books, like I mentioned, are the Torah and the Injil, which is the Old Testament for the Torah and the New Testament for the Injil, which is actually the gospel. So the Quran is telling the Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, see, if you are having issue with what we send down to you, the revelation that we send down to you, if you are in doubt, if you are not sure about some certain things, okay, now ask those who have been reading the books before you. What are the books? The Torah and the Injil. Who are those people that are reading the Torah? The Jews. Who are those people that are reading the Injil? The Christians. Of course, we Christians read both the Torah and the Injil, the Old and the New Testament, all right? So if the book or the verse of the Quran is actually referring to the Christians again, then there is a problem. How can, that's what some Islamic scholars actually think. How can the Quran be referring Muhammad to the Christians, especially when the Christians do not believe that Jesus Christ, or especially when the Quran, Allah himself, does not agree to the fact that Jesus was crucified, when Allah does not believe that, or does not agree to the fact that Jesus is the Son of God, Allah actually frowned against that. It says that anybody that says that, in fact, when you pronounce that, it's as if the heavens and the earth are going to rent apart. So that's how horrendous it is to Allah for you to say that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So when Allah does not believe in all of these things, how can Allah now be directing Muhammad to the unbelievers, to the people that do not actually believe in the revelation that he had come with, and then begin to tell them that, hey, Muhammad, if you're in doubt, seek advice from these guys. Go and ask them for more information. Go and ask them for more, understanding. So you can see that the two verses are presented too far are really, really problematic. And you can see the reason why the Muslim scholars would actually want to, especially some of them. Now, I need to mention that the vast majority of the Muslim scholars, you believe that the Nasaras are the Christians, all right? The Nasaras mentioned in the Quran are the Christians, all right? It's only few Muslim Dawah preachers, okay, that believe that the Nasaras are not Christians. And they are believing this, or they are actually pushing this position for a particular reason. Because of these particular verses that I've just mentioned, okay? Because these verses are actually problematic, especially to interpret and also to do exegesis, especially when you're relating to the Christians. All right, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is, I want to actually show you some translation of the Quran. Some translation of the Quran that uses the word Nasara. They translated it as Nasara. They didn't actually impute Christians, okay? These are translations that use the word Nasara, okay? The word Nasara, in the English translation of the Quran, so like I have some translation right there. Okay, let me just bring in one. All right, so this is one of the translation of the Quran that I have here. This is the Noble Quran. In this particular translation of the Quran, all the places where the word Nasara is mentioned is translated as Christians. Why? Because the persons or the people who translated it understand that Nasaras are Christians. But that is not the only thing. There are some translations that do not agree that the Nasaras are Christians, all right? Ustaz Jamiu made mention of the fact that he has not seen any translation that actually translated the word Nasara to be Nasara, not Nasara to be Christian. Well, they are. In fact, I have one in my library. I just took it out for the purpose of this presentation. Here is one, okay? This particular translation of the Quran, I don't know if you guys can see it well. All right, so I think this is how far I can position it. There you go. Okay, there you go. The Glorious Quran, okay? Text and translation. This particular translation of the Quran was done by husband and wife, okay, couples. Okay, so Dr. Ahmad Zidan and Mrs. Dina Zidan. Okay, so this translation of the Quran, when everywhere you have the word Nasara, it was not translated as Christian. It was translated as Nazarene, all right? The word Nasara was actually translated as Nazarene in this particular translation of the Quran. And it's not the only one, okay? So there are a couple of them out there. So Ustaz Jamiu, you need to know that there are some translation of the Quran that translated Nasara as Nazarene and not just Christians, okay? But why am I bringing this? I actually wanted to show you. In fact, let me read a verse. This particular verse we just read, Quran chapter 2, verse 62. Let me read it from this particular translation of the Quran so you see the way it was actually translated. So let's see. Quran chapter 2, verse 62 from this particular translation of the Quran. Okay, now it says, surely those who believe, that's the Muslims and the Jews and the Nasara. And I'll see what it says now. It says, those who follow Jesus' true message, okay, and the Sabians, the monotheists, whoever believes in God and the last day and perform deeds of righteousness, they shall have their reward with their Lord, and no fear shall be on them. Now, there's something I want you to note about this particular translation of the Quran. This particular translation of the Quran has the word Nasara. it doesn't have it as the Nazarene. It just has the word Nasara. Of course, what it means is Nazarene, Nasara, Nazarene. But then, what he's trying to say is that this particular translation is trying to give the notion that the Nasaras are not the followers of Jesus Christ. I mean, they are not Christians, okay? They are followers of Jesus Christ, some followers of Jesus Christ, but not necessarily Christians. I want you to know that again. Let's see it again, okay? It says, surely those who believe, okay, the Muslims, and the Jews, and the Nasara. Now, see in bracket, the translators actually put that in bracket. They say, those who follow Jesus' true message. What does that mean? It means that it's not referring to the Christians today, but those who actually follow the message of Jesus Christ. I hope that is clear. So this verse of the Quran, okay, let me say this translation of the Quran is actually saying that the particular, group of people who follow the true message of Jesus Christ are the one known as the Nasaras, not the ones that we know as Christians today. I hope we're following that. I want us to follow that because it's really very important, okay? So now, this particular translation, like I said, translated the word as Nasara, and they put it in bracket. These people are the ones that actually follow the true message of Jesus Christ. Now, let me show you another translation of the Quran that, in fact, just put in the word Nasara as Nasara because it doesn't believe again that the Nasaras are the Christians, okay? Now, just for the sake of reference, for those who are watching right now, they want to just cross-check what I'm saying. So, the translation that I've just read now is the Glorious Quran, text and translation by Ahmad Zidane and Mrs. Dina Zidane of Islamic Home and Publishing and Distribution. Okay, so that is what I've just referenced right there, just in case if you want to check it out yourself. So the next one, which is the one I'm going to be referencing right now, is also another translation of the Quran. It's called the Monotheist Group, okay? The Quran, a Monotheist translation. So that is the translation I'm going to be reading right now. Here's what it says. It says, still see the same Quran chapter 2 verse 62. It says, surely those who believe and those who are Jews and those who are Nazarenes and the Sabians, whoever of them believe in God and the last day and does good works, they will have their recompense with their Lord. There is no fear upon them and they will not grieve. You can see that. It's saying that, see, this group of people that we're talking about are the Nazarenes. So it's not using the word Christians, all right? Just to let you know that there are translations out there that do not actually use the word Christians for Nazarene. So the first one is actually the one we checked out, which is this one. This one actually says that, okay, it's Nasara, okay? It uses the word Nasara, and then in brackets, it says those who follow the true message of Jesus Christ, meaning that they are not Christians, okay? Now, the second one, which is the one I've just referenced right now, which is the Monotheist translation, here's what it says. It says that these guys are what? They are Nazarene. Okay, they are Nazarenes, okay, and that is actually what we're seeing right here. They are Nazarenes. It does not translate it as Christians. Now, the interesting thing is this. Of course, we have a plethora of translations out there. A lot of translations, especially the one I've just shown you now, which is the Noble Quran. I told you, apart from this one, I still have about some other translation right there, about 5 of them or 6 of them that actually translated the word Nasara as Christians. I mean, hundreds of this translation translated it as Nasara, okay? But then there's another translation that I'm going to show you right now. Now, this translation is from, in fact, very interesting translation. The reason why I want to show you this is because this person that actually worked on this translation is not just a Muslim that does not know what he's talking about. We're talking about a linguist, somebody who studied the Arabic, all right? Here's what he did. He translated, see, he retained the word Nasara there, but then in brackets, he left it as Christians, okay? Though the word Nasara is still there, just like we're seeing in the first translation that I showed you, but he's not just shaving it off. In the brackets, it left it as Christian. So let's see this translation of the Quran so you get to see what I'm talking about. Okay? This translation is Towards Understanding the Ever Glorious Quran. That is by Muhammad Mahmud Ghali. Okay? Muhammad Mahmud Ghali. Okay, so now here's the way it rendered Quran chapter 2, verse 62. It says, surely the ones who have believed and the ones who have Judaized, all right, who have Judaized, okay, so he's talking about the Jews now, and the Nasara, take a look at that, and the Nasara. Now, he left the word Nasara there, but then check out what he did. In brackets, he imputed the word Christians, all right? Now, what is interesting about this person, now if you check out on the screen right there, I put a footnote right there just to let you know who this person is, okay? So let me just read that out to you. Mahmud, so that's Muhammad Mahmud Ghali, was born in 1920. He was a professor of linguistics. Please, I want you to take note of that. So you'd get to know that this person knows what he's talking about. We're not talking about somebody that doesn't know Arabic or somebody that doesn't know the Islamic religion. I mean, this is somebody that knows his stuff, okay? Okay, so it says he was a professor of the linguistics. That means he studied language and Islamic study, Al-Azhar University. Remember, we mentioned Al-Azhar University the last time we talked about this topic of discussion, Cairo, Egypt. Dr. Gailey has actually spent 20 years interpreting the meaning of the Quran into English. Is the author of an English translation of the Quran towards understanding the ever glorious Quran. Is that not interesting? All right. Is that not interesting? So we're talking about somebody who is a linguist. He understands the Arabic. He studies the Arabic language, all right? It's not just Arabic now. He's not just a linguist alone. He also does Islamic study. So we're talking about somebody who knows what he's talking about. We're talking about somebody who understands what he's talking about, okay? These guys actually understand the Arabic. So without even going into the Quran yet, without even seeing the evidences I'm going to be drawing from the Quran to show that the Nasaras are Christians, we're seeing even from the scholars, the Muslim scholars, credible Muslim scholars, that the word Nasara can be translated to Christian, and it does mean the Christians. All right. So what I'm going to be doing right now, don't worry. If you want to call in, you can call in when it's time to call in about. I know we spent 30 minutes now, but then I still want to go in depth into this before I allow you to call in. By the way, if you want to call in, the number to call in is actually on the screen. Okay, so that's 234. If you're calling outside of Nigeria, that is 23481 279999591. Okay, so that's the number to call in if you want to call in about 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I'll open up the phone line so you could call in. All right, so that's the number to call in on the screen. Now we're going to be moving further. We want to take a look at another claim of the Ustaz. Remember, we've taken a look at the first claim that he made. We'll take a look at the second claim that he made. Now we're going to be taking a look at the third claim that he made. So let's take a look at the third claim, which is the claim number 3. Here's what the Ustaz says. He says, all Jesus' disciples from Matthew to Peter were all Nazarene. All right? They were never called Christians. So that is the third claim of the Ustaz. It says that all the Jesus' disciples, that means all the disciples of Jesus Christ, were all Nazarene. They were never called Christians. Okay? So he made that claim. Now, if you're just wondering, hey, Korede, where are you quoting him from? Like I said, the first time we actually started this program, especially this particular series, I made mention of the fact that I listened to the 3 series part that the Ustaz made in Yoruba language. All right? He did a 3 series part on this particular topic of discussion. And one of those series is almost 3 hours. So we're talking about 9 hours of series. Almost 9 hours of series. I sat down to watch it to understand what he's talking about. So it does not accuse me of strong man. It does not accuse me of saying what he does not say. All right. So the things he's actually saying are the things I'm quoting right here. Okay. Apart from watching those almost 9 hour series, I watched another 2+ hour series on this same topic of discussion, which he did in Yoruba language. So you get to know that I understand what he's trying to say, and I discovered that what he's saying is flawed. There's no historical evidence for it. It does not even have the backing from the Quran. Okay, no scholarly backing as well. So all these things, I'm trying to show that this does not really help in any way, shape, or form. All right, so let's move further. Like I said, the claim number 3 that he made is that all the disciples of Jesus Christ, from Matthew to Peter, were all Nazarene. They were never called Christian. Now the question is, how true is this statement? Is it true that the disciples of Jesus Christ were never called Christian? I mean, do we have evidence from the Bible that the disciples were called Christians? And the answer is yes. I mean, how can you say that the disciples of Jesus Christ were all Nazarene? Now we're going to be taking a look at the word Nazarene in and of itself, okay? Because Nazarene, okay, by the time we go into divination, I don't want to jump, into that section right now. But then we're going to be taking a look at that, okay? Because the truth of the matter is that not all the disciples of Jesus Christ came from Nazareth, okay? So if they don't come from Nazareth, what is the argument he's trying to push here, okay? Because his own argument is that the reason why the disciples of Jesus Christ were called Nazarene is because, okay, let me just put it this way. It said that a Nazarene can be an inhabitant of Nazareth, which is actually true. I don't have issue about that. That is actually true. But if you are saying that all the disciples of Jesus Christ are Nazarene because of the fact that Jesus Christ is a native of Nazareth, or because of the fact that all disciples of Jesus Christ you think came from Nazareth, then you are mistaken, because all of them do not come from Nazareth. In fact, I'm going to be showing you that that is not the case. Now, let's quickly take a look at the disciples of Jesus Christ and where they actually came from. I want to show you one after the other because I want this to be very, very clear. Okay, so I'm going to be starting from Peter. Okay, where did Peter come from? Okay, now Peter came from Capernaum. Okay, That is where it came from, not from Nazareth. So if we're going to be using the definition of the fact that somebody that comes from Nazareth is a Nazarene, then Peter is not a Nazarene. All right? In that sense, he's not a Nazarene. Okay? Peter came from Capernaum. So let's move further. Okay? Because Peter is not the only person that we have that is a disciple of Jesus Christ. We have Andrew. Andrew also came from there. Okay, so we have Matthew from Capernaum as well. So we have Bartholomew. So and somebody, is the person that was also called Nathanael as well. It came from Cana. Okay, so we have James. James is from Galilee. We have Philip. Philip is from Bethsaida. And then we have Thomas. Thomas is also from Galilee. I mean, how do you actually say that the disciples of Jesus Christ are Nazarene when, most of them do not even come from Nazareth? Okay, if that is the claim of the Ustaz, okay, when most of them do not even come from Nazareth, how do you come about that claim? Now, if you say that the disciples of Jesus Christ are Nazarene because Jesus Christ come from Nazareth and he's been identified, the disciples are being identified by the name of Jesus Christ, then that is okay. And we're going to be talking about that very soon, okay? Please, I want you to know these things because they are really, really, really very important. They are really very important, okay? Now, we're going to be going for a short break right now. We're going to go for a short break, a 1-minute break. Now, after coming back from the break, we're going to move further because I want us to also entertain questions, okay? I want to make sure that I give you enough evidence because I'm still going to be talking about evidences from the Quran. Not just the Quran alone. I also am going to be talking about evidences from both the Greek lexicon and also the Arabic dictionary. Okay, we're going to be talking about these things. This is the Arabic dictionary right here. So we're going to be talking about evidences from these sources. And I want this to be very, very educative. Okay, so let's quickly go for a short break. Once we come back from the short break, then we are going to continue the program. Thereafter, we're going to be entertaining your questions. All right, so let's go for a short break. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Qur'an Christians, and I want to tell you about an important program that is coming up. That's a Christian apologetic program called the Battle of the Act. Now, the Battle of the Act is a Christian apologetic program that seeks to explain the Christian faith to people of the other faith, and also seeks to also respond to the people of other faith as well. Now, in the Battle of the Act, we're going to be having interviews, we're going to be having short videos, we're going to be having discussions as well. So it's going to be a program that's full of information for primarily the Christians and then those of other faiths as well. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you can get updates when the videos started coming out. Now, if you have a question or you have a topic of discussion that you do see us discuss, make sure you send a mail to the mail you're seeing on the screen so we can get this information and then respond or even have some of these topics in our future episode. So thank you very much and watch out for the videos.
All right, so thank you for staying with us for this time. Thank you because you've been watching. I mean, it's something interesting to have you even still on the show at this particular point in time. We want to say a shout out to people that have been online. You guys are awesome. I wouldn't mention your name right now. During the question and answer, I would mention your name. So thank you very much for staying on the line. So right now, we're going to be talking about the disciple of Jesus Christ. Are they ever referred to Christians? Are they ever called Christians? I mean, were the disciples of Jesus Christ called Christians? Let's check out the Bible. I mean, let's check the scriptures. Let's see if we have places in the Bible, evidences in the Bible to show that the disciples of Jesus Christ were called Christians. Okay, now let me show you a couple of verses from the Bible to actually prove that. Now, the very first one, which is the one that we even talked about the first time we talked about this particular topic of discussion, is Acts chapter 11 verse 26. Acts 11:26. Okay. And in Acts 11:26 we read, and when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. So we can see right from here that the disciples of Jesus Christ, okay, not just Paul and Barnabas, we've refuted Ustaz Jamiu on that. The disciples of Jesus Christ were called Christians. That is the first place we were called Christians, in Antioch. Okay, so we see the disciples being called Christians. So why did you start saying the disciples were never called Christians? I mean, when he was even talking about the disciples, who are those people he's talking about? Okay, so we're seeing from that verse of the scriptures that the disciples were called Christians. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Now the next one, which is Acts chapter 26 verse 28. Act 26:28 says, then Agrippa said unto Paul, almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian. So here Paul is actually standing before Agrippa. He was trying to tell him about the Christian faith, and it got to a point that Agrippa was so moved, and he says, wow, Paul, in fact, with all the sweet things you've said about Christianity, with the argument that you've made so far, you almost made me a Christian. I mean, if the disciples were not called Christians, why would Agrippa be saying that, hey, you want to make me a Christian. You want to actually convert me into Christianity with the things that you're saying. It's because the disciples were already known as Christian. And that's the reason why Agrippa could say this. In fact, this is a known fact, a known reality. So it's not something that is, hidden somewhere. Maybe at a particular corner, the disciples are called Christians, but not openly. No, they were called Christians. In fact, we're going to be talking about church history, the persecution of the Christians, under the Roman rule. You will discover that this is nonsense to say that the disciples of Jesus Christ were not called Christians. In fact, if we're going to be taking a look at history outside of the Bible, looking at the works of Josephus, looking at the works of the likes of, what's the name of this guy again now? Tacitus, you discover that the disciples of Jesus Christ were indeed called Christians. Okay, so let's see the third evidence, right? That's 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 16. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 16. Here's what it says. It says, "Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on his behalf." What is Peter saying here? Remember, Peter is one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. And for him to have used this word, it means that it's also a recognized fact. The disciples of Jesus Christ are known and are also called Christians. What is Peter saying here? Peter is saying that if you suffer as a Christian, if you suffer as the follower of Jesus Christ, then do not be ashamed, because of course it's part of the things that you need to endure, things that you need to experience on the earth. As a Christian, suffer. How do I put it now? You need to suffer. Okay, suffering is part of the things that you experience as a Christian. It's not going to be a bed of roses all through. Sometimes you get persecution, or you get persecuted because of your faith, because you are identified as Christian, or sometimes because you are a Christian and you are going against the works of the devil. So it's part of the reality of the Christian life, and that is what St. Peter is trying to say here. So we can see that the term or the word Christian is a known term amongst the disciples of Jesus Christ. And we can see that that statement of the Ustaz does not have any historical backing, biblical backing. In fact, it is just a statement that does not have any source to support it at all. Now, let's quickly define a term. Okay, I want us to define some terms right here. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to be rounding up so you can call in to ask your questions. Okay, now if you want to ask your question, if you don't want to call in, you can put your question in the comment section right there on Facebook, okay, or even on YouTube. I will be able to attend to that questions. Okay, so in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to be attending to your question. You'll be able to call in, or if you put it there in the comment section, I'll be able to attend to it at that point in time. So let's quickly define this term. We'll be talking about the word Nasara. Okay, we'll be talking about the word Nasara. Okay, the word Nazarene itself, what is the root word from the Bible? Can we define these terms? Because it's really very important. If we don't define these terms, we might not even really understand what we're talking about. Of course, we need to know Nasara, yes, that is from the root word in the Arabic. Okay, so we have the root word right there in the Greek as well. So can we take a look at the root word? Can we define these terms right from the respective sources so we get to know what it's talking about? So right now, we're going to be defining terms right now. Okay, and this is very, very important. We need to define this term. We're going to be taking a look at this term. What is the meaning of the word Nazarene? Very, very important. What is the meaning of the word Nazarene? Because if we don't talk about this, there might be a misunderstanding, okay? What is the meaning of this word we've been talking about all along? The meaning of the word Nazarene. So what I'm going to be doing right now is that I'm going to be consulting the Bible dictionary, okay? I'm going to be consulting the Bible dictionary so that we can see what the Bible dictionary actually says concerning the word Nazarene. Also, I'm going to be consulting the Arabic lexicon, because I actually show you another Arabic lexicon that I have here. We're going to consider that also and see what the word Christian is from the Arabic. I mean, we need to consider these sources. These are scholarly sources. I'm not just going to be saying something right there and say, hey, Korede is saying this and I want you to believe it. No, I'm saying this because I have evidences to back them up. We're appealing to sources, we're appealing to the text, and we're going to be seeing evidences all around to see if what I'm saying is actually true or not. So let's check the Bible dictionary to see if what we're saying aligns with the definition. Okay, so here from the Bible dictionary, I'm quoting from today's dictionary of the Bible, and this is actually compiled by T.A. Bryant. Here's what it says concerning the word Nazarene. Okay, it says the epithet, okay, Nazarias, okay, it says it's applied to Christ only once in Matthew chapter 2 verse 23. In other cases, the word is rendered of Nazareth, as the case may be in Mark chapter 1 verse 24, Mark chapter 10 verse 47, Mark chapter 14 verse 67. Then it says, when this Greek designation was applied to our Lord, it was meant to simply denote the place of his residence. In the time, that means as time goes on, in the time the word became a term of reproach Thus, the word Nazarene carries with it an allusion to those prophecies which speak of Christ as the despised of men in Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3. The followers of Christ were called the sect of the Nazarene in Acts chapter 24, verse 5. All over Palestine and Syria, this name is still given to Christians. That is a quote from the Bible Dictionary, today's Dictionary of the Bible, compiled by T.A. Bryant. Now, you can see what it's actually saying right from here. It's saying that this word that we're talking about, which is Nazarias, in the Greek, it says this word was actually applied to Jesus Christ initially, okay? It's applied to Jesus Christ because it actually came from Nazareth, okay? So we can actually call Jesus Christ a Nazarene because what? It came from Nazareth. That is understandable. It now said that at a point in time, this word was used as a term of reproach for the Christian, on a pleasant word to identify the follower of Jesus Christ, to identify the Christians. And this is the word that was actually used to identify Christians all over the place, both in Palestine and in Syria. I mean, even in the Bible, in Acts chapter 24, verse 5, the Christians were identified as what? As Nazarene. I mean, right from the Bible itself, the Christians were identified as Nazarene. What more evidence do we need? All right. But I'm not going to stop there. Okay. I'm not going to stop there. Let me give you again another source from another Bible dictionary, because we're not going to be using just one Bible dictionary as an evidence for this, okay? Let me give you I want to give you another quote from another Bible dictionary to show you that what we're saying is actually rooted. What we're saying is actually in line with the Bible and does not agree with what the Ustaz is saying. See again, it says, this is Dr. William Smith, that's Smith's Bible Dictionary, page 215. Here's what it says. It says the word Nazarene, it means an inhabitant of Nazareth, especially associated with the name of Christ and his followers who were called Nazarene. Of course, it's quoting in Roman figures there, Acts chapter 24, verse 5. It says it was used as a name of contempt to Christ's followers in Christ's family making their name, making their home in Nazareth. The very same thing that we read before, okay? Then it says the prophecy of Isaiah was fulfilled, okay? The same thing that we read in the book of Isaiah. He mentioned Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. He also mentioned the book of Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5. It says Christ being the young branch from the royal family of David. So what we're seeing right here from this quote, okay, from this dictionary, this Bible dictionary, is the very same thing that we saw in the first Bible dictionary. So in summary, what they are saying is that the word Nazarene is actually used to identify somebody who is actually an inhabitant of Nazareth. There's no doubt about that. But it was actually used for Jesus Christ because it came from Nazareth. You know, we call him Jesus Christ of Nazareth. It came from Nazareth. But then at a point in time, it was used as a term of reproach, even for the follower of Jesus Christ. In other words, when the word Nazarene was actually used for the disciples of Jesus Christ, it was a term of reproach that, hey, you are the followers of that Jesus Christ that came from Nazareth, okay? And it was the word that is used for the Christians, even right from the Bible. The Bible actually testified to that. I mean, what more evidence do we need to show that this word is actually to identify the Bible, the Christians right in the New Testament? What more evidence do we need? But we're not going to stop from here, okay? We're not going to stop from here. We're also going to show from the lexicon, okay? Because what we're just seeing now is the Bible dictionary. We're going to go to the root word itself. We want to see from the lexicon how it defines the word Nazarene as well. So let's move from there. Our time is fast spent. I think I may have to stop from here. Folks, I think I may have to, because right now we have just 10 minutes to round off. I need to take your questions. So let me see on Facebook if we have any questions right now. Let me see if we have questions right now. Okay, so let me just say a shout out to the people that are online right now. So thank you very much, Bessin Sunday. Thank you, Bra Oni Holland. Thank you very much, Samuel Benjamin. Thank you very much. Olajide Samuel. Shalom. Yeah, thank you very much. Floyd Ola. Thank you very much for joining in. Brashai J. Masams, thank you for joining in. Thank you very much. Yakub Lekon bin Masood, thank you for joining in. I'm actually expecting your question, Yakub, okay? Bessie Sunday, thank you very much for joining in. Don't you claim to be true follower of Jesus Christ? I'm actually expecting a question okay, it seems we're having a caller right now. Yeah, we're having a caller, so just give me a minute so we could pick a call from the caller that is calling in right now. I think this is Bro Folari, I guess. Okay. Hello, where are you calling from? Wow, we just missed the call. It's a pity we just missed the call. Okay. We just missed the call. So please, if you want to call in, this is the time for you to call in right now. I'm sorry, but for Larry, we missed your call. So if you want to call in, this is the time to call in right now, and we'll be able to pick your call. If you want to ask your question, this is the time to ask your question also now. This is the time to ask your question, or if you want to call in, this is the time to call in as well. Okay, so Brother Larry, sorry we missed your we missed your call. All right, so I'm actually expecting. Okay, so I think Brother Larry is calling right now. Hello, good afternoon, Brother Larry. How are you doing today? Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Wow, we missed the call again. We missed the call again. So this is the time to call in. If you want to call in, we will pick your call, and then we'll be able to get on with the show. I've not seen any question right about now. I've not seen any question right about now. Even the Muslims that are on here, I've not really asked any questions, okay? Thank you very much, Brian Floyd. I really appreciate that. Elijah Ruga, God bless you too. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Right here on YouTube, I've not seen a question right here as well. Okay, so I think I may just have to move on since we have not seen a question. I may have to move on and then. Okay, so we have a question coming in. Oh, sorry, we have a caller calling in. All right, so good afternoon. Where are you calling from? Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, what's your name or where are you calling from? Hello? Wow. I don't seem to be able to. Wow, another call is coming in. Hello, good afternoon. What's your name or where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. My name is Folani Sunday.
Okay, Brother Folari. Brother Folari, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay. So do you have a question or do you have a contribution?
Yes, a question and a suggestion anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. I noticed the stand of the Ustaz Jamiu Adegunwa is that Jesus, the word Christian came from Greek. Mm-hmm. And it came from the word Christ, and he was saying Jesus never heard the word Christian in his lifetime.
Okay.
He never spoke Greek, he never heard the word Greek. So if this is my first suggestion, before I ask my question, I want to suggest.
Okay.
Can we have him live on the program so we can question him
okay.
or any of his students?
All right.
Live and because we can. That is my suggestion. If you
okay.
can bring him on, you can question him on that. Two. I want to ask a question.
Okay.
If Jesus never heard the word Greek, if Jesus never spoke the word Greek,
yeah.
you can expatiate on that.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question that in what language was the Injil revealed to Jesus?
Okay.
Injil itself is in what language?
Yeah.
Arabic or what?
Okay.
That's my question.
All right. Thank you very much, Bro Folari. Really appreciate you for that. Now, before I answer the question of Bro Folari, I need to let you know that somebody was actually calling from. You can drop now. Yes, Bro Folari, you can go drop. A caller is trying to call from. Can't tell where the person is calling from. I guess it's from the UK, probably US or UK. The person is calling on WhatsApp. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pick your call. I couldn't pick your call. I'm sorry about that. You can try and call in again, and I guess we'll be able to pick your call now. I tried picking your call. I couldn't. I don't know why I could not pick your call. But then please try calling again, and I will try and pick your call. So, Bro Folari, yes. Bro Folari actually asked two questions. And the first one is that, can we have Ustaz Jamiu Adegunwa on live show? I mean, can we have him on the live show to come and, answer questions on this particular topic of discussion? No problem. I'm going to speak with Ustaz to bring him on the live show so you can the Christians can actually question him on this topic of discussion. I'll bring him on the live show. That's something that I promised to do. And the next time, because I can see that I can't finish this series, we're going to have a third series, all right? We're going to have part 3. So probably by the time we're going to be having the part 3 of this particular program, I'm going to give you a feedback on what the Ustaz response is concerning bringing into the show. Now, the Ustaz actually said, okay, call in. Yes. I would actually ask him if you could call in. Yes, if you call in and then clarify himself. And if we could also bring him in to clarify some of the things we're talking about, that would also be interesting as well. Okay, so somebody is saying, oh my God, the person, hi. Okay, let me just say this. You can call in. The person who is actually wanting to call in from WhatsApp, I just wanted the person to know. I don't know who the person is, but I just wanted to know that you can actually call in now. Okay, if you want to call in, you can call in now, and your call will be picked. Alright. Okay. Okay, so now let me quickly answer the question. Ustaz actually says that the word Christ is a Greek word, that Jesus Christ has never had that word before. I mean, that is a statement of ignorance. It's a statement of ignorance. Why? Because the word Christ, of course, is a Greek word. I accept that. There's no doubt about that. But the word Christ itself was had by Jesus Christ. In fact, how do we know? Now, let me just break this down first. Okay, so let's pick this call from this caller. Probably I can answer the questions together. All right, hello. What's your name or where you calling from? Hello, what's your name or where you calling from? Hello, what's your name or where you calling from? Okay, so I can't seem to hear the person. What's your name or where you calling from, brother? Okay. I can't hear what you're saying. That's the problem. Hello? Hello, brother? Hello, brother? Hello, are you there? Hello, brother, are you there? Hello, brother? Wow, I think the line is breaking. So I'll try to call the brother back. Probably we could get a question from there. Okay. So I'm trying to call the brother back now. To see if we could get him on the program. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to call him on WhatsApp now. Hello, brother. Hello, brother. Good afternoon. I can't hear your voice. Can't hear what you're saying. Wow. Hello. 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 Unfortunately, we can't hear the brother. Oh my God. Okay, so brother, you could actually, can you send the message, the question on WhatsApp, or probably you can send it on the comment section as well, so we could address we couldn't hear what the brother is saying. I couldn't hear from my hand here, so I don't know if you guys can. I'm sure if I can't hear it, you guys can't hear it as well. All right. So brother, you could actually just put in the question, or you can send it as a text message, as a text on the WhatsApp number. I'll try to attend to it. Okay, so like I said, that statement is a statement of ignorance. Why? Because during the time of Jesus Christ, Greek has become the lingua franca. What do I mean by that? Greek has become a common language during the time of Jesus Christ. Why? Even before Jesus Christ was born, Alexander the Great, because he was conquering places, conquering lands and all of that, he has conquered the Jews, all right? So the Greek language and the Greek culture is enforced on the Jews at that point in time. You get? So anywhere Alexander conquered, you have to imbibe in the Greek language and the Greek culture. Okay? So during the time of Jesus Christ, of course, Latin was spoken, Hebrew was spoken, Aramaic was spoken, then the Greek language was the lingua franca. Now, when we say lingua franca, we're talking about a common language. Okay? It's just like in Lagos. I don't know, should I say the common language in Lagos is Yoruba or Pidgin? Okay, now of course that does not mean that those are the two languages that are spoken. English is spoken in Lagos, Hausa is spoken, Igbo is spoken, but there is a common language, that is spoken by the inhabitants of the people of Lagos. Okay, so you have sometimes you have Pidgin spoken generally, and sometimes you have the Yoruba, the language, spoken. So the Greek language is the lingua franca of the time of Jesus Christ, even though the mother tongue of Jesus Christ is the Aramaic, but the Greek language is the lingua franca, and that's the reason why we have the New Testament in the Greek language. All right, so it's a statement of ignorance to say that Jesus Christ has never had the word Christos, because it's actually Christos in the Greek. All right, that he has never had the word Christ or Christos. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, because we have interaction. In fact, when people came to him and they were asking, hey, are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed? Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed? You understand? When they're asking him that question, what do you think? What language do you think they were communicating in? When the Greek language is actually the lingua franca. All right. And apart from that, in the Bible, we also have some people that actually came to Jesus Christ, the Grecians. Okay, they came to Jesus Christ to interact with him. Okay, so if you go into the how do I put it now? The New Testament history. In fact, by the time you study the New Testament history, you discover that this is just a nonsense talk to say that Jesus Christ has never had the word, Christos in the first place. It's just a nonsense talk. All right. So I would try and bring in the Ustaz via call or probably on the program itself, so he can defend some of his position. Then you also ask the word, the question, the word Injil, is it an Arabic word? Okay. Is it an Arabic word or is it a Greek word? Now, I won't answer that. I won't answer that question because I would want the Ustaz to answer that question, okay? The word Injil itself, is it from the Arabic roots, okay? Or is it from the Greek language or the Greek word? That's an interesting thing. Now, if the Ustaz is not going to answer it, if he's not going to be coming on the show, I will touch on that, in the next episode, because the answer to that question is very interesting. And that's the reason why when the Muslims are saying, when they say something like the Quran has been revealed in pure Arabic, I mean, can you really substantiate that? We have, thank you very much. Remember, I was going to talk about the book written by Author Jeffrey. Author Jeffrey actually wrote another book also, Foreign Vocabulary in the Quran. Foreign words, foreign vocabulary in the Quran. We have a lot of foreign words in the Quran, words that are not Arabic in the Quran, all right? So it's an interesting thing. I'm not going to be answering the question right now. I know, Bra Fulani, I have an idea what I'm talking about, but then I'm not going to answer the question right now because I want the Ustaz, if he comes online on the program, to answer the question. But if he's not going to be coming online on the program to answer the question, then I will have no choice than to answer the question. Okay, so I want to see if we have more questions right here on the show. Following, thank you very much. So I want to see if we have any question right here on the show. So far, we have not seen any question. I've been trying to, I wish I could just get across to this brother who is trying to call from, I think it's from the UK. Yeah, he's trying to call from the UK. If we could get his question, but unfortunately, we could not get his question. I'm really, I wish we could just get a question before we round up. Okay, so it's 2:00 right now. We are going to be rounding up anywhere from now. I'm trying to see if we have any question from YouTube right here. I don't think we have any question from YouTube also. Okay, so we don't have any question from YouTube as well. Okay, so I think we're going to be rounding off right about now. Okay, so Sister Eunice actually says, welcome everyone. Oh, thank you very much, Sister Eunice. God bless you. Brakpukwola, thank you very much. Thank you for your comment. So I think we're going to be rounding it off from here. Those are the comment that we've had so far. So I think we're going to be rounding the program off from here. But then before we round it off, I would like to actually give us a couple of announcements. Okay, so let me just give us a couple of announcement right there. So Lord willing, next week we're going to be having interesting guests coming on the show. But before then, I want to let you know that Bra Folari's book, The Dialogue, and Abdul Meet Ibnu is coming soon. Lord willing, by the time everything is finalized, by the time the Lord finalized everything, the book will be out for us to actually consume. It's actually an interesting book that encapsulates the dialogue between a Christian and a Muslim. And if you're going to be reading this, it's going to help you to understand, interfaith dialogue between the Christians and the Muslim. For a Christian, it's going to equip you more, even to be able to interact with the Muslim. Okay, now let me also give you an update on the camera support that we've been talking about. Last week we actually had as of last week, we have about 96,000 naira for the camera, and our goal is 170,000. And as at last week, we were able to raise 96,000 naira for the camera. I'm actually glad to let you know that as of today, as I'm speaking right now, we've already gotten about 150k for the camera. So we are very close to the goal. Our goal is 170. Actually, the camera is between 170 to 200k. So meaning that if we are not able to get it for 170, we'll be able to get it for 200,000. So we're still looking at the possibility. If we're not able to get it for 170, we'll get it for 2,000k. All right, so 200k. That's what I mean. So as of today, we have 150k contributed so far. I really want to appreciate and thank everyone who have given towards this project. God bless you. Thank you for your labor of love. Thank you for your support. I mean, people are actually sacrificing, wanting to make sure that the gospel get to our Muslim friends. And I want to assure you that by the time we start the program itself, it's going to be mind-blowing. There are a lot that we have in store. There are a lot of things that we have in store. So thank you very much. I want to say thank you for all those who have actually contributed so far. Thank you and God bless you. Lord willing, next week, we're going to be having our brother on the show, Bra Mwalimu. Okay, that's Mwalimu Chaka Wamusa is going to be coming on the show. All right, so we're going to be talking about an analysis of Quran chapter 33. That is what we are going to be talking about. Bra Chaka is going to be lecturing us on that verse of the Quran. He's going to be doing an analysis on Quran chapter 33. This is one program that you don't want to miss. It's going to be 1 p.m. the usual time, and it's going to be hosted on the Season Apologist YouTube page where you're watching it right now, and also on Facebook as well. So please make sure you keep it a date. You don't want to miss it. A lot of interesting stuff that our brother put together and he's going to be sharing with us. So again, please do not miss. This is going to be taking place on the 13th of September. That is next week. So you don't want to miss this program. All right. Lord willing, next week. Now, immediately after that, we're going to be having our brother back again. Brother Benson Sunday. Yes. Our brother is going to be coming back again for the part 2 of the topic. Is the Quran perfectly preserved? Now, if you have not watched the part 1, please make sure you go to our page, the Season Apologist page, and then you watch the program. I mean, we have done part 1 for this program, this particular topic of discussion, and it's coming for part 2. It's going to be interesting. I mean, there are so many more evidences to show you that the Quran as we have it today is not perfectly preserved. Now, that is going to be taking place on the 20th of September 2020. Make sure you join us. It's going to be an interesting program. Now, immediately after that, on the 27th of September, we're going to be having Samuel Green coming back again. Samuel Green is going to be coming back again, and he's going to be talking on the topic of discussion, the destruction of the temple and Islamic theology. The destruction of the temple and Islamic theology. This is one program you don't want to miss. Samuel Green is going to be unpacking some certain things, how the destruction of the temple actually relates, how it relates to the Islamic theology. This is something that is new. It's going to be interesting. And again, we're going to be hosting this on, the time we're going to be hosting this is 11 a.m. Please, I want to take note of that. It's going to be 11 a.m. the Nigerian time, and it's going to be 8 p.m. the Australian Eastern Standard Time. Please, I want to take note of the time. It's not going to be 1 p.m. It's going to be 11 a.m. in the morning. All right. So those are the program that we have lined up for you. As you can see, we have interesting thing coming up. We have interesting program coming up, and I want you to pray for us that the Lord will actually provide support that we need to make this, to take this to the next level, to be able to reach as many as we need to reach. Also, please, I wanted to pray for those who have been supporting us so far. I mean, somebody is actually responsible for the multiple live streaming that we're doing right now. Initially we only do it on Facebook, not on YouTube. Somebody is actually responsible for this. Please, I wanted to pray for this person, that the Lord will continue to bless this person, and the Lord will actually, reward this person for the labor of love that they have actually, engaged into. And for those who have given towards the camera so far, thank you very much. Yes, we're still expecting more funds, but then for those who have given so far, thank you very much, and God bless you. Really want to appreciate you. Now, if you have not joined us on our social media platform, please do that. On Facebook, we are there. On YouTube, we are there. We are very social. On Facebook, we are Seasoned Apologist. On Instagram, we are at Seasoned Apologist. On Twitter, we are at S Apologist. Sorry, Seasoned A. So that's the social media handle on Twitter. And also on YouTube, it is S Apologist. And if you want to reach out to us on WhatsApp, that's the number to call, +234 8127 999 591. So that's the number to call if you want to reach out to us on on our WhatsApp number. So thank you very much. Really want to appreciate everyone who have stayed up to this time. Thank you very much. God bless you. Please, I want you to stay safe. Coronavirus is still out there. Make sure that you maintain social distancing. Make sure you wash your hands regularly. Make sure that you also eat well. You need to eat well and live well as well. Thank you very much. God bless you. My name remains Qur'an Christians, and see you next week.
Just wave your hands. Come on, let's do this song together. Wave your hands, everybody. Now, if you know that Jesus has been faithful to you, wave your hands. Come on. Yeah. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior. That's what you are. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior. That's what you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God. That's what you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God. That's who you are, bright and morning star, beautiful rose of Sharon, way maker, awesome wonder. I realize that no one can compare to you. The things you do, no other God can do the same. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior, that's who you are. Faithful God, pride of the whole world, beautiful Savior, that's who you are. Faithful God, holy God, righteous God, that's who you are.